want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. This is actually a celebration. It really is. And I know we're going to have another service in a couple of days here. But right now, we want to take some time out to celebrate the life and legacy of our dear sister, Lorraine Savage. I count it a privilege to be here officiating and overseeing this time right now. I count it a privilege. And before we get to the message, I wanted to our service, I want to just say to the family that you are precious people, extremely precious people. I haven't known the family long. I've been in touch with Miss Savage's family, immediate family, for a little bit, not quite a year, I think, about a year. Been in contact with them, so I understand a little bit about the family. However, this is a precious, 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 precious family. I have done more funerals this year and funerals than I care to even mention. And as I told the family when Mrs. Savage was making her transition, I told the family, I said, you all have something that I don't see often, and that's unity in family. And you can just feel the love. I feel it now, and I walked in here, there's this warmth and this presence that I feel now. And it's exuding from not only the family, but this woman right here. That spirit is amazing. And you all are so blessed to not have been a part of her, but to be a part of her. And so we're going to get right to this time. There's a couple speakers, and actually I want to call Bob up. My name's Robert. We talked about this, I think. You're Bob. I'm Bob. We Bobs think alike. All right. I'm going to just...
On behalf of the family, I too want to thank everybody for coming out. We were kind of worried that with this situation that we all been in the last few days or week, that the turnout wasn't going to be that good, and lo and behold, it is, and we really appreciate it. So it's going to be tough, but I'm going to try to get through this. My mother, what a great, great woman. One of the last greats from the greatest generation. A generation that was born in the Roaring '20s, was raised during the Great Depression, during World War II, and had to endure a lot. And my mother was born in a family of 4 siblings, from Joe and Mary and Belle. And my mother, at an early age, their family had some issues, and my mother had to take on a matriarch role a lot as the oldest sister, and raising the younger kids a little bit and helping with that. And that probably helped develop her maternal instincts. My mother was a phenomenal woman, and she believed in family, family, family. When she was 16, during World War II, she had to quit school and go to work as a waitress and help help with the family funds, because money was tight during the war. And when she was 16, she met this handsome soldier that was stationed in Detroit, Augie, and he was 21. Of course, that was a different time and age back then. But they met, and my mom used to like to joke that they met at a roller skating rink, and she used to always say that, Dad fell for her at the roller skating rink. Boy, did he fall for her. 49 descendants later, after the war was over, my dad went back to Pennsylvania for a short period of time, then moved back to Detroit to be near her. And they married a year later, in 1946, and started on the journey of raising kids. Rich was born first in 1947, then Merle in 1949. While they were still in Detroit, they built their home, their dream home, in 1950. and the rest of us were born in that house and raised in that house. And 71 years later, my mom took her last breath in that house. She loved that house. Cheryl was born next, 1953, then myself in 57, and Jimmy, 59, Lori, 61, Patty, 1964. So my dad, he got his GED while he was in the service. He too didn't finish high school. But then he, with 3 kids at home, in 1954, he decided to go off to college and get an associate degree at Lawrence Institute of Technology, where Jackie works now. And he got his degree right in time for General Motors Tech Center to open up, and got a job with GM. And he worked the next 17 years of his life at GM. He usually worked at night, so my mother had to did almost everything raising us as kids, because my dad would work at night and then sleep, and my mom had us all the time. And she instilled such a love of family with all of us. It was just incredible, the upbringing we had from her. And here my mother had to do all this stuff and never drove. She never could drive. I mean, can you imagine that in this day and age? The average woman probably puts 20,000 miles a year on their car, whether they work or not. And my mother handled everything with us, never driving. But boy, could she drive us. She drove us to be all we could be, and try to accomplish everything. Her biggest pride was, she always said, because her and her dad didn't, that she was just proudful that all of us would graduate high school, and we all did. And a few of us even got college degrees. And so, she was very proud of that. And my mother was a very smart person. I mean, she was really good with the finances. She could, coming from the Great Depression, she could stretch a nickel into a dime. And we never were without. My dad didn't make a ton of money, but we didn't know it. We always had everything we ever needed. So, like I said, she was a great woman. So her love of family, she pushed us for that as well. And it instilled, all of us have great families in and of ourselves, all 7 of us. And the amazing thing in this day and age, in all my travels and dealing with employees and dealing with families, I've come to realize that the dysfunctional family that people talk about is the norm. That our family is the abnormal, because when I tell this to people, all 7 of us still get along great. We all love each other. Everybody, there's no hard feelings. Yeah, there's maybe when it comes to picking out the food on Sunday nights, but, and that leads to another thing is my mother lived for Sundays. I'm the only one who left the nest egg, and I've been gone for the last 40 years, coming back to visit as much as I can. But this family comes together every Sunday in my mother's little house that she lived in her whole life. Kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, nephews, nieces, friends, sometimes 40, 50 people in there. You can't walk, you can't talk, it's hot, it's cold, it's this, And then, like I said, the trying to figure out what to eat is, but this family's really good at that. I tell you, there's 2 things there's 3 things we're really good at. But one is long goodbyes. We have a hard time saying long goodbyes. We know how to eat. And the other is procreating. There's 49 of us. My mom and dad have 49 descendants. So now it's the family thing is how I want to finish this. And this is where it's going to be hard. But the love and respect that I have for my brothers and sisters is of the utmost. It's hard to comprehend. My mom always said she never wanted to go into a home. She never wanted to go into a nursing home. And my brothers and sisters lived up to that promise. And for the last 10 years, someone slept with her from our brothers and sisters every night for the last 10 years. And for the last 5 years, 24/7. And I couldn't be there always for that. I tried to come in as much as I could, do what I could in different ways. But my love and admiration for my 6 brothers and sisters and my brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws who loved her like they were her own mother. It's just, there's a special place in heaven for all 7 of us. And it's at the right hand of God, and it's at the left hand of our mother, my father, Joe, Michael. Mom's going to be waiting for us, and I really appreciate all you guys for everything you've done. Thank you.
That is so special. I tell you, Bob. I mean, see, so I wasn't wrong when you said you guys have that kind of unity and you're just close. You just don't see that often. It says a whole lot about that woman. A whole lot about her. Wow. And so at this time, we're going to have the grandkids. They're going to read a letter written by Lorraine's daughter-in-law, Chris Savage. And I think that's where we'll have it this time.
I love all these pictures of Mom's children holding her beautiful hands. Truly tender and loving pictures. I know for years she hated her crooked finger. She took so much pride in how she looked, and she would compare her hands to mine and say, "Look how wrinkled, old, crooked, and ugly my hands are," but then we would laugh about it. I wish I would have thought then to hold her hands and tell her how truly beautiful, remarkable, and amazing her hands were. I realize now, looking at these pictures, that her hands have the love of a lifetime in them. From a new bride, when her husband put her wedding ring on her finger, to reaching out with her hands to take and tenderly welcome each one of her babies into the world.
Hands that took care of 7 children and her husband. Tender, loving, compassionate, and hardworking hands. Hands that changed all those diapers, fed her babies, lovingly soothed them to sleep, exercised their legs by doing ride-a-bike, and their arms with so big. 2 of my favorite things I learned from her. Felt their foreheads when they were sick, fixed boo-boos, and wiped away tears when they got hurt.
Hands that clapped and cheered them on when they learned new things. Hands that cooked and fed her family, scrubbed and cleaned, washed clothes and hung them out to dry on the clothesline in the summertime. Ironed them lots of iron years ago, sewed and made clothes. Hands that loved playing cards, games, working puzzles, gambling hands, and just having fun hands.
Hands that love putting on makeup and jewelry and making herself look pretty. Hands that love to garden and make her yard look pretty.
Hands that were always ready to help in any way she could. Hands that were ready to reach out to welcome her family, friends, and whoever came into her life.
Hands always ready to love, comfort, wait on others, cook for everyone, or whatever was needed. Hands that loved playing with grandbabies and great-grandbabies and teaching them new things.
Her hands are so beautiful and proof of life well lived. She is blessed that she lived a long, wonderful life, and her hands are got wrinkled, crooked, and yes, old. She did so much for so many with her beautiful, remarkable, tender, strong, and loving hands, and I wish I would have thought to tell her all this when I had the chance.
I love you, dear, sweet, beautiful Mom. Thank you for always being all in and teaching and loving us all so, so much. I will miss you and love you forever in my heart and soul.
I'm going to be by myself for this. Us grandchildren would also like to add that Grandma's hands took such good care of our parents that they in turn did the same, not only to us growing up, but also Grandma in the final years of her life. We all thank them for their endless love and care that they gave her. Thank you.
So beautiful. I tell you, I don't know. I'm getting tremendously blessed just being a part of this. Again, you don't see this. Not nearly enough. It's so special. There's a song, famous singer Bill Withers had a song that said, the song was titled Grandma's Hands. And you need to check it out sometime. It's a really, really, really good song. And some of the very things that was expressed in that poem, he talks about in this song. So Grandma's hands were more than just hands for eating and whatever. Grandma's hands were created to take care of children and grandchildren, a great symbol of stability and guidance. Thank you, grandchildren. Now, at this time, Patty, we're going to have Patty come up with some words.
He's going to try.
Not going to look up because I can't. It's called Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, I Am My Mother After All. I've been told a lot through the years, you are just like your mother. Whether it's looks, hardworking, taking care of others, stubbornness, love of flowers and gardening, wear makeup daily, a payday candy bar lover that I'd bring to her, and now my son Brian would bring to her and myself. Love of babies and being a dirty dog. All the way down to sharing some hearing loss disease, the same hearing loss disease. And I would answer to that, mirror, mirror on the wall, I am my mother after all. I felt there was no better honor. We always had a very special, close relationship through the years. Over the years, it seems the roles kind of reversed. I felt like the mother to her, and she became my baby. I watched over her every move, and worried nonstop about her. Again, another honor. I know losing her, all of our lives will forever be impacted by such a great loss and the love from her and everything that she was to each of us. I know I personally will never find anything that will ever come close or to touch or impact my heart and soul as my mom has provided me throughout my life. Our mother was such a wonderful, loving person, always having a smile on her face. Well, maybe not always growing up, but she was always a gentle soul with a loving heart for family. Wonderful daughter, sister, friend, aunt, being everyone's favorite on both sides of the family. Wife and mother, taking care of her sick husband for 16 years, all while still raising her 5 young kids at home, not even working or driving. Always had clean clothes, hot meals, cooked breakfast most days, lunch, dinner with meat, veggies, and a dessert, all while playing the father and mother role. As we all got older and married and had children of our own, she became very proud grandma and Gigi, making sure each and every one of them felt so special. Our relationship as mother and daughter was unwavering from the beginning. She was my first love, sense of nourishment, my guidance, my moral compass, the woman that raised me to become who I am today, but also would be the one at times to drive me to the edge of my patience and then catch me as I would fall. I cannot imagine my world without her. She was my first word, changing over the years, from mommy to mama to mom. She was the wound healer, knowledge, strength, never never wanting to leave that world, the sense of unconditional love that we all drank from and returned to time and time again, even though the well would run dry in the end. Things change over the years as you grow up. I stepped in and out of her embrace, testing my own strength, heart, and ideas, to leaving the comfort of her home and to build my own. Knowing I always had her love, support, and sympathy to back me as I did. Knowing that I learned from the best, not really realizing just how hard it would all be, or how much she had provided and done for me over the years. I had to call her one day after I became a mom. When she answered the phone, I said, "Thank you." She said, "For what?" I said, "For everything. Everything you ever done for me." It didn't hit me how much a mother gives of herself so selfishly that there's nothing you wouldn't do for your children until I became one. And how lucky we all were to have such an awesome one at that. And like I said, one day I became my mother's mother in my eyes and heart, and she was my baby. Constant worrying for her every need. She became frail and weak over the years, and I could see the changes, knowing I couldn't stop it. But just be there for her as she was for me and all of us. There would be days of the old mama I once knew and loved. Others where she didn't even know who I was. One day I texted Dave and said, "I miss my mom," and she's sitting right next to me. Such a horrible, cruel disease this has been. You have to mourn your loss of your loved one, not once but twice, because they no longer are the person you once knew and loved, to losing them again. And as we all sat and watched her leave us one final time, holding her frail, thin hand with the bulging blue veins that once held each one of us like a road map to her heart. She was the glue that held the family together, the reason for every Sunday at Mom's. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. It wasn't always easy. It was very hard and draining at times, from feeling honored to be there for her in her time of need in the last 10 years like she was for us growing up, to some days feeling resentful for having to give up my time and sometimes couldn't wait until my shift or night was over on those very hard days, to always coming back to feeling honored to be the ones to give her the peace and love and devotion she so deserved. And to keep her in her own home that she loves so much, the same home which in some days she would not even know where she was, always wanting to go home. Now we all know she's finally home. I'm so gutted, and I don't know how I will do life without her. I guess I'll have to look in the mirror to feel her love and see her reflection looking back at me, because mirror, mirror on the wall, I am my mother after all. I want to say a special thank you to my daughter Jackie, who held guard by Grandma's side from Tuesday on to her last breath, helping us take over with her around-the-clock hourly meds and schedules, all while having COVID herself and very little sleep. I never felt more proud and honored to share this experience with you. I told her I was going to get her a job at Arlington National Cemetery as the guard for the tomb of the unknown soldier. She was just that dedicated for all of us, and we all appreciate it so much, so thank you, Jackie. Last but not least, to all my wonderful siblings, all of us pulling together, dealing with this horrible disease with Mom, especially these last 10 days being quarantined together. It took a village for sure, but we did it. We were able to keep her safe in her home like she has always wanted to, and to all of our spouses for loving Mom like she was their own from birth. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Patty. That was it's really good. It's really good. At this time, I want to extend an invitation for those that want to have short words to speak and to say concerning how you felt, or just have words you want to share with us today. I'm going to extend that to whoever's out there. And at this time, you just come in.
This is a poem written for me and my siblings by my dear friend Patty Limbeck. Mother, because of you, there is a me. Because of you, I can see. Because of you, I can talk. Because of you, I can walk. Because of you, I can read, and because of you, I did succeed. Because of you, I know right from wrong. Because of you, I am strong. Because of you, I have grown. Because of you, I'm never alone. Because of you, I've learned so much. Because of you, I have a mother's touch. Because of you, I can raise mine. Because of you, I'll do just fine. Because of you, I can love. Because of you, I have faith from above. Because of you, I have a family tree. And because of you, I am me. So thank you, Mom, for all you have given. You gave me life, a life worth living, with cherished memories of you and me. And in my heart, you'll always be.
Is there anyone else that has something at this time you can come forward? Anyone? Not everybody at the same time. Oh, boy. One thing I can say is I had a beautiful childhood. Not only because of my mom, my dad, Jack and Betty, but because of Aunt Lorraine and Uncle Augie. I had a great time. Excuse me. We had a wonderful childhood going up to the cabin. You know, that's why I had my kissing cousin Patty. You know, going up there and just enjoying life as young kids and just being treated as we meant something, and how in the precious love she gave to us. You know, I remember the days up there, you know, Richie and Chris would come up there and Chris would give us the bear hugs and the bear kisses on the cheeks. I'll never forget that. Wonderful, wonderful times, you know, and it's just the fondest memories I can ever have, you know, besides with my own brothers and sisters, you know, I got to share it with also. But, you know, there was so much joy. You know, Aunt Lorraine always had a smile. You know, even when we were trying to pull her wig off and do things, you know, she would go, "Don't you touch my wig." And it's like, it was just the fun we had because we knew the laugh and, you know, we'd get out of her. You know, so I watched her as we grew up. You know, not only my mother, but, you know, that I love immensely. Aunt Lorraine's right there, my favorite aunt. She just embodied happiness, you know, and love. And we see that in her family, you know. Beautiful, beautiful family. You know, the love there is immense. You can see it. And I pray you all somehow figure a way to keep your Sundays, keep going, because that is so precious. Sure. You're welcome at my house. I'd love to be part of it. I tried to come over there a few times, but it was crowded, you know. And I couldn't keep up with the puzzle making. It's like, woo, okay, you know. But, you know, there's three women I admired most in my life. My mother, my mother-in-law, and Aunt Lorraine. I watched her go from, you know, just a loving bride and a happy mother to a caregiver for her husband when he had a disability, that stroke. She never missed a beat. She never stopped. She just kept going. The smile never left. Every time you seen her, she would just smile, and she gave you love like you truly meant something. And I know we did, you know, and going up through the years, I just watched that love. You know, our grandparents had troubles, but they did something right. They instilled a love into my mother, into Aunt Lorraine, Uncle Richard, and Donna even though she had her ways. We love her to death, you know. But that love was always there, and it was strong. And it was always showing. The Christmas parties we used to have on Christmas Eve at our house, the greatest times I can ever remember. Mike running around poking people with toothpicks. Remember that, Mike? Yeah, I do. The little fondue things my dad would make. You know, it was just fond memories. And as I said, I watched her transition into a caregiver, not only for her children, but for her husband, and never complained. Never complained. I never seen it. My mother never seen it. And my mother and her had the bond of, they loved each other so much. My mother cherished her, and I know it went the other way too. But I'm thankful. I am truly thankful that her and Uncle Augie were able to bring all you wonderful people into this family, the whole extended family. I mean, it just goes down. Linda, all you know, it's just, you're all the same. You all carry that same love and happiness and just joy. And it's just, I just love it. And it's just, so there's one thing I want to say, and it's that this is a celebration. It's not only a celebration of her life, it's also a celebration of her death. Okay? We look at death today as we lost somebody that we'll never be able to talk to, never be able to see again, never be able to hold, never be able to get advice from or anything like that. But that's not what it is. When Jesus came here and he died on that cross, he conquered death for us. So we no longer die. Okay? When God made us, he breathed in our nostrils the gift of life. He breathed the breath of life to us. That's what gave us life. And when we die, that breath of life goes back to heaven. Okay? To be reunited with our bodies one day. All right? The Bible tells us that, you know, in Revelations that Jesus will come again, and when he speaks, the graves will all open, and the dead will arise. The dead will, you know, that's when they're going to be joined back together. But it won't be with these bodies. It won't be with missing hair and diabetes and heart attacks and all this other things. It's going to be a heavenly body. This is a celebration. This is a joy. She's home with Jesus. Okay? She's home at peace. That's the most beautiful thing we can ever, ever want. Imagine, Lisa just had a baby. And what's the one thing we always say about women that have babies? That glow about them. Why is that? Because they're bringing in a life to this world. Something they treasure and something they love. Now just imagine that glow that Jesus has when she came home. That his child is home with him. Safe. Forever in eternity. Jesus has told us he goes before us to prepare a place in his Father's mansion for us to go home to. And he says he cannot lie. He can, you know, if this isn't true, I couldn't say it. Jesus was the only perfect person ever to walk this earth. He can't lie. She's home with him now. She's home and at peace. And I thank the Lord for that. So when you hit your knees tonight, thank God for sending his beautiful son down here for us to conquer death. So there is no death no more. I love you all. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything to share? I didn't catch your name, young man.
Steve.
Steve, that was awesome, Steve. And it's so true. It's really true. And that's kind of where I am with this whole, what he ended there with, is where I am. And but before that, I want to say to the family, you know, all of you lovely children, I want to extend my condolences personally to you. It's a tough time for you. And I want you to know that we've been praying for you, and we will continue to pray for you. I also want to thank the entire extended family. You came out. As I think it was Patty said, you know, you kind of wondered if people were going to show. Well, they had to show. They had to show. But however, it still took some effort to get out here nonetheless, and you all came. It says what this lady meant to you or means to you. And it's an amazing thing. So I want to extend my condolences to you as well. And we've heard so much here in the past 30 minutes or so about this wonderful woman. And I, quite frankly, I could never add to that. First of all, I didn't know her like that. Now, I'm the pastor for the Hospice Association, and I'm the pastor, I'm the spiritual care person. And so I'm here on behalf of Universal Hospice. However, at the same time, I know the family, but I don't know them like you do. And there's no way I could say anything that would, they've said it all. You said it all. Bob, I could start naming names, and you all said it all. But there's a couple things I want to leave with you here. I want to share a few things that will hopefully bring some comfort to you. You've already eulogized her, and I'm going to do a eulogy, but I want to bring some comfort to you. I want to bring some comfort, and kind of as a text, if you will, I want to talk about gone, but still here. Steve, gone, but still here. Gone, but still here. 2 Corinthians 4:18 says this. Now this is the Apostle Paul, who was a disciple of Jesus Christ. He is encouraging the early church in this letter. And this was a very difficult time that the Christian church was enduring at this particular time. And he begins to write this letter, and it reads as follows. It says, "So we're not giving up. How could we? Even though on the outside it often looks like things are falling apart on us. On the inside, where God is making a new life, not a day goes by without his unfolding grace. These hard times are small potatoes compared to the coming good times, the lavish celebration prepared for us." It goes on to say, he writes, "There's far more here than meets the eye." There's far more here than meets the eye. The things we see now are here today and gone tomorrow. But the things we can't see now will last forever. And so we live in this physical, three-dimensional world, but this world is temporary. Nothing in it lasts forever. I mean, nothing in this world lasts forever. Our homes, the house that we live in, that home that you all grew up in, Lorraine passed away in, beautiful home, loving home, but it won't last forever in this three-dimensional world. Our cars, they don't last forever. Our clothes, they never last. Our physical bodies just does not last forever. I had a brother who was relatively young. He worked out every day and ran several miles. He ate really well, and he was a healthy eater. But he developed brain cancer at the age of 57 and passed. He died. I had another brother prior to that who lived a healthy lifestyle, treated everyone with respect, but died young at the age of 47 from a heart attack. I had another brother, great guy. He was also a pastor. He devoted his life to helping others. He was the best person that I know. Yet he died at a young age, at the age of 46, of a heart attack. The point that I'm making here, and I want to paint this picture, the point that I'm making is this, is that life is temporary. It's temporal. Even if we live to be 25 or 95, in the grand scheme of things, life is temporary. It's temporary. Lorraine lived a long, productive life. We heard all about it. However, it still hurts. She lived a long life. Productive life. But we still sorrow. We still hurt. The pain is there. We know the last 10 years of her life, she had to endure the disease, but she lived there. And she had special people to take care of her. And all of you all, you stood watching, you took your turn, and you cared for her. She lived a long life, productive life, was cared for the final 10 years of her life. And the grandchildren, probably some of them came along during the time she was struggling and going through this time, maybe the great grands during this 10-year period. And so, yes, there's pain. And yes, there's sorrow. It's not easy losing your mother. I lost my mother she was 76 and she lived with me and my wife for the last 13 years of her life. And although I consider that very young, 76 for me is young, she lived a productive life, raising 12 children pretty much by herself. After my youngest sister was born, my mom and dad separated. That's a memory that I have. And you all experienced something that few do. Mom and dad being together. Till the end, till he passed, you got something very special. I had a great family, but that's something I never experienced. And so you all should cherish that moment, those times that you had. And so because of that time that you had, yes, you sorrow. Yes, you're feeling pain. It's never easy losing mom. But if there's any good that we can gather from this loss of this dear, precious woman, Lorraine, if there's any good we can get out of this, is that now she is in the presence of God. She's in God's presence. At some point, we all have to pass this way. If Jesus doesn't return first, we're going to all pass this way. It's a part of life. But this is what I want to say, and I think our dear friend Steve hit on this just a little bit. Not only is Lorraine, hallelujah, in the hands of a loving God, but she's also right here with us right now. Oh yeah, we say, yes, she's gone and she's in heaven. Yes, she's with God. Yes, she's with her husband. Yes, she's with the matriarchs and the patriarchs of old. Yes, she's with them, but she's here. You know why she's here? Because we are spirit. We have a soul and we live in this body, but the essence of who we are is spirit. Somebody say spirit with me. Say spirit. We're spirit. And so, gone, but still here. Now we say things like, her physical smile, we heard those things. Her physical smile was so appealing, and we say things like many of us have shared. Her smile was infectious, and we say things like she was uplifting, but what we really were attracted to was her spirit. That's the attraction. Her beautiful spirit, her soul, is what we were attracted to. That's what we love. That's what we came to admire. That's what we came to aspire to be like. We were attracted to the real Lorraine, which is her spirit, her soul. Lorraine is alive as much now as she was before that breath left her body. Because she's not physical. She's spirit. Oh, those are just clothes. I don't want to minimize her physical being. I want us to understand and realize that these are clothes. Our body is clothes. Our spirit wears our body. We put our body is placed on our spirits, over our spirits. And when God calls one home and allows one to come home, the spirit returns to God. and that flesh goes limp. This funeral home did one of the more amazing jobs that I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of people in this state. Great job. She looks good. Good as someone can live. Good can look. However, that's not her. That's clothes. And so what I'm trying to say here is this. Whether family, all 7 of you, I think it's 7, correct? All 7 of you, I want you to understand, whether you realize it or not, your mom, Lorraine, your mother, is right beside you. Right now. Right now, right beside you. The spirit is alive right beside you. Your mother's right here next to you. Yeah, we all would love to have her here physically and in the flesh. But her spirit, her soul, is all that we have. And if that's all that we have, that is all that we need to feel that sense of that warmth and that affection that that spirit brings. During those days when grief fills your heart, family, and your heart is heavy and your heart is grieving, and you will have those days. You'll have those days. But just know that Lorraine is right there with you. Remember her smile. Remember her laughter. Remember her love. Remember how giving she was. Grandma's hands. Gone, but still here. I want to close with these comforting words. But before that, Patty, you remember this. I came to the house the first time that came to the house, and I sat there, and we were getting acquainted the first time I visited that precious home, and sat there and talking, and Patty tells Mom, said, "Mom, Pastor's here." "Oh yeah, okay. Pastor's here, and he wants to pray with you." Oh boy. And she says, "Play with me?" "Play with me?" And I kind of shrunk back and had a little laugh about it. "But Mom, I never got to play with you. I do believe on that glorious day when we're all reunited that I'm going to get my time to play with you. In fact, the entire family, all the brothers and sisters, and along with your husband and grandchildren and great-grands. I don't know, maybe there's some great-great-grands. I'm not sure. But some great-grands all get together, and guess what? We're going to play with Grandma. We're going to play with great-grandma. We're going to have fun. And in fact, she's already dancing in the streets of glory right now, on the streets of gold. She's dancing and she's getting reacquainted with the loved ones. But we're going to get an opportunity, and I promise you, Mom, that I'm going to play with you in heaven one day. Gone, but still here. I'm going to close with these comforting words of Jesus. Verse 27 in the scripture, it says, "Peace is what I leave with you. It is my own peace that I give you. I don't give it as the world does. Do not be worried and upset. Do not be afraid." I want to say to you all, don't worry about tomorrow. Jesus is right here. He's right here, right now. Don't worry about how you're going to make it through the next day. Don't worry about how you're going to make it through next week. Jesus has got your back. He's got you. If you want to cry, go ahead and cry. Crying can be a good thing. It really can. But if you don't want to cry, don't cry. We all grieve differently. So there's no wrong or right way to grieve. And so don't worry if you don't want to cry, don't cry. But if you want to cry, cry. We're all unique. We're different. We grieve differently. So if you want to cry, go ahead. Let the tears flow. Just let them go. However, through the pain and all the tears while you're crying, just know that Lorraine is right here with you. Not only is Jesus with you, but she's right here. Right here with you. Gone, but still here. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Our Father, we need a source of strength and refuge. We need a resting place. For being this kind of help in the time of trouble, we offer our thanks right now. Bless the memory of this dear one, Lorraine Savage. Grant us all the peace that comes from trusting you. Amen. At this time, I want to play a song. And immediately after the song, we're going to turn you over to the hand of the directors, into the hand of the directors at this time. Be blessed by this song. Again, at this time, I want to put you in the hands of the directors here. And at this time, directors, you can come forth if they're here. Oh, here we are.
Thank you, everyone, for supporting the family during this time. The visitation will continue until 9 p.m.
And she gave you hugs and kisses.
There was a lot more I wanted to say. I'm sitting down and I'm going,
Yeah, I know.